Brilliance Audio presents Hawke, Three Black Ops by Ted Bell, performed by John Shea. The bright blue waters of Penobscot Bay beckoned. Cam Hooker paused to throw open his dressing room window. Glorious morning, all right. Sunlight sparkled out on the bay, flashing white seabirds wheeled and dove above. He took a deep breath of pine-scented Maine air and assessed the morning's weather. Sunny now, but threatening skies. Fresh breeze out of the east and a moderate chop. 15 knots sustained, maybe gusting to 30. Barometer falling. Increased cloudiness. Possible thunderheads moving in from the west by mid-morning. Chance of rain showers later on, 60 to 70%, give or take. Perfect. Certainly nothing an old salt like Cameron Hooker couldn't handle. It was Sunday, praise the Lord, his favorite day of the week. The day he got to take himself, his New York Times, his Marlboros, and whatever tattered paperback spy novel he was currently headlong into reading for the third time, an old Alistair MacLean, out on his boat for a few tranquil hours of peace, quiet, and bliss. Hooker had sailed her, his black ketch Maracaya, every single Sunday morning of his life for nigh on to 40 years now. Rain or shine, sleet, hail, or snow. A man alone, a singleton, solitary. It was high summer again, and summer meant grandchildren by the dozen. Toddlers, rugrats, and various ragamuffins running roughshod throughout his rambling old seaside cottage on North Haven Island. Haven? Up and down the back stairs they rumbled, storming through his cherished rose gardens, dashing inside and out, marching through his vegetable patches like jackbooted thugs, and even invading the sanctuary of his library, all the while shouting at peak decibels some mysterious new battle cry, "Huzzah! Huzzah!" picked up God knew where. It was the Revolutionary Victory Cheer, according to General George Washington. He knew that, but this intellectually impoverished gizmo generation had not a clue who George Washington was. Of that much he was certain. You knew you were down in the deep severe when not a single young soul in your entire clan had the remotest clue who the hell of the father of our country was. Back in Hooke's day, portraits of the great man beamed benevolence down on you from every wall in every classroom. He was our father, father of our country, your country. Why, if you just had told young Cam back then that in just 1 or 2 generations the general himself would have been scrubbed clean from history, why, he would have— "What are you thinking about, dear?" his wife said, interrupting his dark reverie at the breakfast table later that morning. Jillian was perusing what he'd always referred to as the women's sports section, sometimes known as the bridal pages in the Sunday edition of the New York Times. Apparently, it was the definitive weekly who's who of who'd married whom last week. For all of those out there who, like his wife of 60 years, were still keeping score, he supposed. "You're frowning, dear," she said. He scratched his grizzled chin and sighed, gazing out at the forest of green trees reaching down to the busy harbor. On the surface, all was serene. But even now, a mud-caked munchkin wielding a blue frisbee bat advanced stealthily up the hill, stalking one of his old chocolate labs sleeping in the foreground. "Will you look at that?" he mused. Jillian put the paper down and peered at him over the toaster. "What is it, dear?" "Oh, nothing. It's July, you know," he said, rapping sharply on the window to alert his dog of the impending munchkin attack. "July? What about it?" "July is the cruelest month," he said, not looking up from the book review. "Not April. July. That's all." "Oh, good heavens," she said, and snatched away her paper. "Precisely," he said, but got no reply. Dismissed, he stood and leaned across the table to kiss his wife's proffered cheek. She said, stroking his own freshly shaved cheek, "If you'd relent for once in your life and only let them have a television just once. That old RCA black-and-white portable up in the attic would do nicely. Or even one of those handheld computer thingies, whatever they're called. Silence would reign supreme in this house once more, but no, not you." "A television? In this house?" he said. "Oh, no, not in this house. Never."